Let's talk more now about Donald Trump's next steps and the international reaction to his election. So let's bring in ABC's Tom Llamas and Martha Raddatz, who is in Washington. And Tom, you obviously followed the Trump campaign from the very beginning. You will continue to follow his transition to the presidency. We heard Reince Priebus there not committing to whether or not he was being considered for chief of staff. But who are some of the top picks for President-elect Trump and his new administration?
Yeah, I thought that was incredibly telling just now with George. Let's put up some faces there on the screen. This is for chief of staff. First, Reince Priebus, the chairman of the RNC. He did not tell George no just now. And sources within the campaign told me he was incredibly helpful during the presidential debates, and he really built a bond with Donald Trump. Then Governor Chris Christie. He shocked the political world after New Hampshire when he came out and endorsed Trump in that surprise press conference. Yet he has Bridgegate hanging over him. He's still part of the transition team. Steve Bannon, I'll never forget that call I got right before GMA when Paul Manafort was out, telling me about a man named Steve Bannon who I had never heard of. He was one of the top dogs at Breitbart, but he connected on a personal level with Donald Trump. He's a big ideas guy, and he was there part of the winning team. And finally, Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, married to Ivanka, a person we don't see a lot in public, or speaks a lot in public, we should say, but he speaks a lot in privately to Trump. We'll have more on him in the next half hour.
And Martha, what about the picks for possible national security positions, the key national security positions in the Trump administration?
Well, we've got Jeff Sessions, Senator Corker, Mike Flynn, the general who has been with him all along. We're not positive about any of this. Newt Gingrich, and he will probably bring in some Republican establishment figures, perhaps in that national security team, George.
And Martha, on those big foreign policy promises, we know that President-elect Trump is starting to speak out, to speak to foreign leaders, including the leader of South Korea, reassuring her yesterday. But he's got these big promises on the board, like punishing China over their currency, renegotiating NAFTA, building that wall on the border, scrapping the Iran nuclear agreement. Where do you see this going right now? How realistic is it for him to be able to implement these things in these first days?
Well, first of all, George, the response around the world has been congratulatory and diplomatic, Muslim countries included. On the Iran nuclear deal, Iran says they will continue to abide by it, but tearing it up will be difficult if there's not an alternate plan. And this was not something the U.S. did alone. On the Muslim ban, he had later proposed it would be just countries where terrorism was a problem. And the wall, well, Mexico's president says that he's eager to work with President-elect Trump, but no way they will pay for a wall. But I think the world is waiting to see exactly what Mr. Trump's foreign policy positions will be.
Any word, Tom, on when we'll hear about his top posts?
You know, that's the big question right now. When will Donald Trump decide? The clock is ticking. We know that some of his top advisors have reached out to potential candidates. We heard a Reuters report that Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan, co-CEO, possibly as the Secretary of Treasury, but this is all speculation right now.
All right. Tom Llamas, Martha Raddatz, thank you.